Hey, what's up, everybody? You're tuned into AfterBuzz TV for Empire Season 2, Episode 12, titled Arose by Any Other Name. So, question for you guys. Do you think that Rhonda and Andre's relationship is doomsday? I do. So, let's talk about it. Let's go hit it.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Dirty hypocrite manipulator. Made her mama lose the kids, let her go away for 17 years.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Bamm, Ericsen. Sophia's not here, but I would like to introduce the rest of the panel. Go ahead.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Kennelia.
And I'm Emile Ennis Jr.
Okay, so are we in agreement that last night's episode was good?
Oh, yeah, it was good.
So as I mentioned earlier, I mentioned Rhonda and Andre's relationship. I see this relationship going down the drain. It's doomed. So what do you guys think? Do you think this marriage is going into Divorceville?
Well, if it has anything to do with the Bishop Shade Tree operations, then yes. Why is that pastor so shady? I think he pushed her down the stairs, but we'll get to that later. Mm-hmm. But they have a difference in opinion regarding faith, mm-hmm. So that's usually a factor when you are in any relationship. Some people can get past it, some people can't. However, because Rhonda is so adamant about not believing in the same God that Dre does, and Dre is so into the church and is so and the pastor is so much in his ear, I don't think that, forget them being totally different, whatever. I think that piece is what's going to potentially break them apart. If you remove the pastor, I think they can be fine. But once he keeps inserting himself into their relationship, then he even said something about Andre, about when she said he needed medicine. He was like, well, she has God the medicine. Something, whatever. I was like, oh, here we go. Mm-hmm. Here we go.
So I agree. I don't think that, because they've always had their issues, but this religion thing is really pushing it over the edge. And I think my issue is you can't force anybody when you're in a relationship. You can't force anybody to come in your spot, especially when at the genesis of the relationship, you guys weren't religious. And if one person changes, you can't try to force somebody else to change, which they have to come to their own terms. And then especially when it comes to religion, you don't bring anybody over to your side the way he's trying to bring them over to your side, by bringing them into counseling and then ganging up on me, asking me if I'm cheating. And furthermore, how are you going to be mad even if she was cheating? You guys had an open relationship almost before to get everything you needed to get, regardless, so you could advance the empire, whatever it may be. So you can't all of a sudden, just because you're holy now, try to act like you weren't holy. You get what I'm saying? Like, you can't flip-flop.
We're going to get help.
I didn't even mean to make that reference, but you can't flip-flop back and forth. Their relationship, I don't know. I think it is going to be one of these things where I understand where they're going with it. Like, he's having these visions where he knows something more happened, and there's going to be, she finally remembers that somebody actually did push her. So I see where they're trying to go with it. But for right now, I'm kind of on board with Rhonda. Like, if you don't believe, you don't believe. You can't force me to.
Mm-hmm. And then another thing is, when he said to her, I had a vision, she was like, ugh. She kind of gave one of those numbers where she's getting really tired of this religious shit.
No, she is. I mean, people kind of going off of what Emile said. When you're not into religion or spirituality and someone else is, no, I take that back. I'll change it. You ever meet somebody who just got saved? Mm-hmm. They're really excited. Mm-hmm. And you love it. And I'm speaking to somebody, I go to church, I'm saved, love the Lord. But when people just get saved, they're so excited that they sometimes throw it on to everyone because they want you to feel as good as they feel about it. So imagine what we've seen in them going back and forth with religion. But imagine in a normal relationship where we haven't seen him always talking about God and everything else. She's probably like, yo, come on.
Yeah. One of the many reasons why I see this relationship or this marriage just going for Doomsville is a couple things. The way that Andre is the way he's approaching Rhonda, only allowing to take her over to Empire if she goes to church and if she does counseling. Like, it's one thing. First of all, that's your wife. Get her the damn job. She doesn't want to be home. So now you're gonna negotiate with your wife and say, I'll speak and get you the job over at Empire if you go to church and then do counseling. Now let me get on Reverend Price.
Is that his?
Yeah, Reverend Price.
Right.
AKA Otis from the Temptations movie. And he was in a Progressive commercial that I saw when we was watching it.
Bam, I can't.
I'm just saying it is what it is. I find it very interesting that his last name, that they call him Reverend Price.
Like Reverend Creflo Dollar?
No, Creflo, no, but Fred Price. There's a preacher by the name of Fred Price who is notorious for speaking and preaching, prophesying about money a lot. And so I wonder the correlation, because sometimes they take real things and they put them in, secretly into characters. And so for me, I feel like Reverend Price's motive is money. I feel like his motive is money. Another problem that I have with Reverend Price is, bro, you are not qualified to be a counselor. I don't really go into religion too much, but what annoys me is when people of the cloth feel they are qualified to do various jobs because you want to reference the Bible as the source of your expertise. God blesses you. You're a comedian. You're a host. People can be blessed to have different occupations. So just as you were called to the ministry to preach the word of God, there have been people who has gifts to be real counselors, where they go to school and where they have certifications to counsel. You are not qualified to be a marriage counselor to them.
Well, my question is, wouldn't you want someone to at least believe in what you believe before you attempt to start counseling them? Like, let's say he were qualified to be a counselor. Let's say he did have a master's degree in psychology and blah, blah, blah. But to counsel someone in the area of expertise based on religion or spirituality, shouldn't both of the criteria for both people getting the counseling be that they are believing the same thing or they have the same ideals before you use that method to teach and help them better their relationship?
I hear that. I will say, because y'all know I'm a PK, my dad, see, the thing is, like, when they say marriage counseling, I don't necessarily see it as like the real counseling, like you're talking about, Bam. When a pastor does marriage counseling, I just see it a little different because they have their own version of counseling and they learn if they went to seminary and things like that. And it's not like the counseling I think we're thinking of. I don't mind that they're going to marriage counseling because, just to put in perspective, like, if Kennelia and I went to my dad and said we want to get married, and I don't know if he still does it, but if we went to my dad and said we want to get married and I was Christian and she was, I don't know, Catholic or another faith, well, they still, you get what I'm saying, though. Like, if we're not the same, he's United Methodist, so we're not both United Methodist, she believes something different, we would talk about that in the session, not trying to bring you on board, say, okay, you have to be United Methodist now, you have to go to church, but we would talk about the issues that may come up. So I think my issue was not them going to the counseling and her not necessarily believing. I think the issue was the way Reverend Price approached the whole situation. Like, any counselor, I feel like you can't be taking sides.
Right, and that's why I don't feel he's qualified to do this, because it's one thing if you're having problems because he wants more sex and she's too tired. They have a much bigger issue, and Rhonda kept throwing that. She. Andre thinks that he's cheating, that Rhonda's cheating, which she wasn't. She was spying on Cookie to help that whole situation, which we'll talk about later. But Rhonda thinks Andre is paranoid due to him not taking his meds, and because he hasn't taken his meds for a certain a part of time, he's a little off, and so he needs to get it recalibrated. That's a huge effing issue, which was going unnoticed, which is why I say Reverend Durong is not qualified to do this counseling session. So that's all.
No, I especially in regards to the medicine. Yeah, I agree. Reverend didn't do wrong. I can't. Okay.
Yeah. Now, speaking about the rest of the family is also worried about Andre because he's acting different, or he's acting. He's spinning, and so Cookie called him crazy on accident.
It was so Cookie.
Yeah.
She was like, "You you're crazy, yeah." Like, it was so Cookie.
Yeah.
Because, like, let's say Andre he didn't have bipolar disorder and he was just that kid. Sometimes you just got a kid who always just be doing some crazy shit. Like it's always, it's one kid you be like, yo, if you don't sit down. So Cookie said it like it was just that one kid who always that makes either bad decisions, can't shut up, or something like, sit your crazy ass down. And she caught herself, but when that happened, at first I was like, ugh, but then I was like, yeah, that's Cookie.
It's very Cookie, yeah. And then, do you guys think the song "Why Bad Things Happen to Good People"? Do you think that's good enough to make Andre feel better to get out of this, or do you think that there should be more?
I mean, it's a step in the right direction, but I mean, what can you do if he's not going to be taking this meth? He's listening to the pastor. It's only going to go downhill from here. It's cool that his family's supporting him. It's cool that they're trying to make him feel better, but he lost a child. He's not in a stable relationship with his wife because he does. Anytime you have somebody who's that deep into faith, like Kennelia said, when you are new to faith and like you go all in, they can get a little crazy, and that's only going to push Rhonda further away. So dealing with that, plus the loss of the child, plus everything that's going on with Empire, he just has too many things, and he does not handle stress well already because of his condition. So that, plus the fact he's not taking his meds or not recalibrated, whatever she said needs to be done.
And he says he's taking his meds, and I don't believe him.
Well, you can. No, she made a good point. You can be taking your meds, but sometimes when the body changes, things fluctuate. So the meds you're taking from January to may not be the same meds that you need to take from May to October because you change and again hormones fluctuate, so you got to keep getting readjusted. Like you'll see if you meet anybody with with someone who is taking those type of medications, most of the time they have to go back in because sometimes they're too strong, sometimes they're too weak, or sometimes you gotta dose them up higher or you gotta drop it down lower. But it takes active understanding. You have to be on it and you have to be willing to do that. And Andre doesn't seem like he's willing to even make the effort to try to get himself together.
I understand that everyone's lives are busy, but being his condition, I just think that there should be a family intervention. I know I know it's a soap opera and I know it's TV, but I just felt like, that was a great song. It was cute. You saw Hakeem crying. It was a good song, but that's not good enough.
Well, but there's only so much forcing you can do. When there's an adult, you can't. I don't know like actual facts when it comes to someone dealing with somebody with bipolar disorder in regards to forcing them to get their medication under control. But if it's just straight doctor-client privileges, I can't force you to go to the doctor and do anything. I can't go to your doctor and tell him to give you something without your consent or approval. So until Andre gets to the point where they have to check him in, I'm assuming, they really can't. They can tell him what he needs to do, but if he doesn't do it, he doesn't have to do it.
Yeah, I agree with that because if you corner Andre, he's going to have an attack. Like he's going to have another episode, and then they're going to have to commit him. So I think they're trying to do as much as they can do right now without having, like you said, to check him in, because he's not going to respond well to any type of intervention just because of the way he is.
Well, on the final thoughts of the Andre character, I'll say this. If the rumors are true that Trey, who plays the character, is not happy with the storyline, I'm just going to say, well, brother, you are fooling me because I think he is doing a phenomenal job playing the hell out this character.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah, I saw that in the gossip rags as well. No, he's doing a good job.
Beyond. Okay, so now Jamal, Jameson, and Lucious. And Becky, I thought she looked nice in her green.
Becky did look nice.
She looked really nice. Okay, so the gay right group, we put you where you are. So why you decide to flip flop? Okay, I thought that was just.
I should have brought some flip flops. I flatlined.
Oh my gosh, I thought it was hilarious.
I was not expecting that.
Yeah.
When that came on the screen, like I literally was, I had to rewind. I was cackling. I wasn't expecting that. All of a sudden, flip, and they were like voting and stuff. Flip. I'm like, what in the world? I can't. That was amazing.
Yeah, that was a great spin on that because it took me away from the actual storyline because I was so entertained with what they're doing. But I mean, is it really that damn serious?
Well, I don't know. But, I don't know. But I'm assuming, again, I don't know if I said this last week, Emile or Sophia or you. Some people don't want to be role models or lead the charge for a cause because of reasons like this. Because if you deviate off of the cause or you step out a little bit out of line and you just living your life, but you're not on the path of everybody in the cause that everybody in the cause wants you to be on, then you have to deal with this, with scrutiny. The minute, I don't even remember the minute where he decided he wanted to be the spokesperson for gay rights in the music industry, but somebody deemed him that man. So this is the consequence. It's unfortunate that he can't live his life, but I mean, I thought it was funny.
It was hilarious.
Yeah, I thought it was funny, but at the same time, it's like, come on, y'all.
Well, if you think about it, Peter will throw paint on you.
Sure will.
When people believe in something, and they down for the cause, you gonna get it. Look at how people are so protective of their animal. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
don't buy it. Don't buy his music. But I get it.
That wasn't even a song, like Becky said. It's not even his song.
So do you guys think that Jamal should play the old school way and just politic his way into winning this stupid award?
I think it's bigger than the award, though. Like Cookie was saying before, it's a business. And yes, you want the award, but you don't want to burn bridges where you don't have to burn bridges. And the fact that I'm glad he told, what's his name, what Lucious was up to.
Yeah.
I'm a little upset
Or
that
Jameson.
Jameson wasn't smart enough to figure that out on his own. Like, why would his own father snitch on? Like, that part was a little weird.
Well, Jameson should know that Lucious is shady
that's what I was
anyway.
like.
Because I
Jameson
still
was all
want to know.
shocked.
I still want to know what happened with Jameson and Lucious, because he keep throwing digs and shade at Lucious every moment he can. So I need that to be revealed before the season end. But no, I think Jamal's doing everything he needs to do now that he knows. Because I think before, the reason why he was so adamant last week, not saying, but kind of saying, like, why are you so concerned with, what I'm doing, is because he didn't know that Lucious dropped that knowledge to Jameson. And now that he knows that Lucious is not only sabotaging his Ace Award, but like you said, his career, that's the problem. So you have to do everything you can. So that's why when he did that song, and that song, I'm not going to lie, that song is probably my favorite song I've heard from Jamal besides, what was the one with the white party?
You're so beautiful.
Yeah. Besides that one, this may be my new favorite song because y'all know Jamal. I love his voice, but sometimes he does that like high pitched nasally type thing. Yeah, a little bit of Michael Jackson with I just don't like when he does that voice. But this one, I felt like he was in pocket. He had a little bit of rapping. He had a little bit of singing. He has a little Drake going on. I liked it.
did.
I liked it.
I like this song for many reasons. I love the layers to it because it took you through a journey. It was like watching if there was a music video, you would literally see a full out video that actually had a story because it started off slow. And then it has some hip hop moments to it, and then it has some very dramatic melody to it. And no shade, but Jamal, when it comes to songs, I feel like his songs are the only good ones to me. I didn't particularly. Hakeem's song was boring.
I liked his song.
I can't be jamming.
Power.
Yeah,
I don't remember it, but I remember Power.
Yeah, he be jamming.
Now, if you mention somebody else's song in this episode, then I would have to agree with you. It was basic.
Oh, Tiana's?
I didn't say it.
Oh, yeah. It was. It gets lost in the shuffle, but I felt like
my body.
Yeah, I felt like Jamal's because it really did feel like a musical. There was probably like 5 performances last night.
There was a
a lot.
Yeah.
I just felt like every song that Jamal did, but like it hit, and then Hakeem was just just on that Yeezy shit stuff.
Oh, I love Yeezy.
I like Hakeem.
Yeah, I like Hakeem too. Well, okay, go ahead.
Okay, so one thing I'll say about Jameson, I think he's playing his cards right because I still feel in my bones that Jameson is trying to smash.
I don't think so.
I feel he's trying to smash. And in today's society, unlike the old days where it's like, Kennelia, you want to make it to the top? Give me the panties. What are you going to... You can't prove it.
Or give me that mouth.
Give me that
I can't.
But in today, you can't do anything like that. Jamal is like Taylor Swift. You piss him off, he's going to write a song about it. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like Jameson is playing his cards very strategically. So now... I think Jameson knew all along that Lucious had something to do with that, but because he felt that he was kind of losing Jamal a little bit. All right, so now let me get you back on my side. He's going to smash before the end of the season.
I don't know.
Well, he's putting a lot of work in
He
for
is.
somebody.
Too much
If he
work.
in fact wants the draws, he's basically courting Jamal. If he just wants the D, he should have just came out and been like, "Yo, give me the D."
And Jamal can say no and then move on.
Right,
Like,
instead of he's like strategically creating beef and then rejoining inside and then consoling and nurturing. Just get the D.
But it's with people like him who has power with voting and awards and stuff. It's a power thing. I feel so. It will be easier. Any little young boy, he could, say, come here, I'll give you something, and I hope you get to the top, and then you really don't, you just dump him. But because of who he is and who he's attached to, I feel like the longer he draws this out and with power and so forth, and then Lucious apparently maybe not gave the draws 20 years ago, I feel like this is all I feel.
Mouth or something. He gave him something.
I feel like he's playing. I feel like he's playing a very twisted game that we're gonna see toward whenever.
Well, he too old to be
Well, see,
playing
yeah,
hard
that's
to
too
get.
much. That's
He
too
is too old for the games.
Just say, can I get that? Say
Give
that.
me that booty.
Or nah, bruh. Oh, wait, what did Jamal say at the end of the song? I put it on my notes. Hold on. Go ahead while I look it up.
Didn't he said bruh or something like that? Like,
He
bruh.
said, nah, bruh. Something like that then.
Bruh.
That was funny.
Bruh. Bruh. Oh.
Well,
Oh, yeah, he said, nah, bruh.
Do you as far we love the retaliation song, but do you think by him retaliating, do you think that's going to affect him or him getting this award?
No.
I don't think it's going to affect him getting this award, but I don't think it's going to have the impact that he wanted, because now Lucious is doing a damn tell-all. So now he's going to be the victim and the poster child for living a life of struggle and strife and turning it into riches. So thanks, Jamal.
Yeah. One of the funny things that Cookie said, she was like, Jamal, you know your daddy is a tampon.
That was
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah, that was funny.
That was so...
And so now let's get into let's get into
You know how... Never mind.
no go ahead.
Tampon... Never mind. Because it's going to get too nasty graphic, and I'm the only woman, and I don't want... These dudes be cringing, and if we have any male listeners, I don't know. Tampons are... Like, the idea of a used tampon... Never mind.
I can't.
To be honest, this whole storyline with Lucious and the Boom Boom video, I just, so what, who cares? I don't care.
What? Boom, 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 boom.
But for the sake of conversation,
bang,
oh
Oh my gosh.
I love it. What do you like?
I didn't even like the songs.
Yeah,
I don't care
I
about the video.
It's right now they just need him to be doing something. And this reporter that he's talking to now, she's a little too cute for her to just be like a pop-in reporter. I feel like something's gonna happen there possibly. But yeah.
And even the concept of his video and what he's trying to do, I don't know if they're purposely doing this, but it's showing how dated Lucious is. Nobody is doing the whole Hype Williams videos like they used to do.
That was in my notes.
Like
yeah.
nobody, the big music videos and the big budgets and all that stuff. That's very
Old school.
2002
1999,
Noriega. What? Like that? No, that's not this era. So again, if they're purposely doing this, perfect. If they're not, it's working out just fine because it's dating Lucious's character.
Not only that, but who the hell does a music video for $750,000?
Hype Williams back in the day.
And
Benny Boom. Like that whole, all of those.
And you want 1,000 extras? Like, hello, CGI. CGI.
He don't know. Poor
He
thing.
he does not have a clue, and I agree with you about the Harper Scout character. Giving her the exclusive because now that Jamal has let the cat out the bag, now he's going to tell the story of how he became Lucious. I just don't care. You don't need an exclusive with someone to do an interview because Janet Jackson, Beyonce, they post something on Twitter and then everybody comes to them. Like, Lucious, if you're that big, just tell your...
But in his mind,
I don't
he
care.
thinks he's like a Jay-Z type character. Like Jay-Z don't be getting on Twitter and Instagram and stuff like that, posting stuff. If he was to do anything like that, he would have somebody come in and do an exclusive story. This is what really happened in the streets. You know what I mean?
Or Jay-Z would low-key just let us find out, though.
True.
You know what I mean? He would he would like Jay-Z likes to plant shit and then we figure it out, and then when he finally does an interview they ask him and he'll be like and then he'll just laugh and we'll be like, yeah, he said yeah. Like Lucious is the epitome of that old rapper who is doing everything the way it used to be done. It's hard for him to get on board. When other people, younger artists succeed, he gets in his feelings and jealous. He just can't. He can't really keep up with the times. Even whatever.
But I will say this about Lucious. His tactics and his ways. Besides the last scene, he didn't really go off as bad as he normally would. Even with the whole Jamal thing, he was like, okay, I got something for him.
Well, he didn't go off yet.
Yeah. The only other thing that I want to say about that is you're shooting a video when the awards, I'm assuming, is coming in a couple weeks. Like, you are so late, Lucious. Just sit down. That's all I have to say. Like, he's making a music video for Boom Boom Boom, and it's already been nominated for the fake Grammy. So that means the Grammy, if the nominations have already been revealed, that means the awards are coming very soon. So now you're gonna put out a video.
Well.
So anyway, I'm just
need something
I
to
know.
do.
Okay, so now let's get more into the meat and potatoes of this. So Cookie forces Hakeem to stick with the plan. The most hilarious thing is she slapped the shit out of him again.
Can we just okay? I've been waiting to talk about this.
Okay.
Hakeem. I don't know what acting coach he hired or what happened, but he can act now. I was actually impressed. No, and that is I swear to God. I swear to God, that is no shade. We've met him before. I see him at the gym. No shade whatsoever. He can act now. And when Leah Daniels Butler, who's the casting director, came in here and sat with us, she told us this is his first role. Mm-hmm. His very first role. So that's what I'm saying. The reason why I think first season it stood out so much, like his acting made you cringe a little bit sometimes, is because you're with award-winning, like you have Terrence Howard, you have Taraji P. Henson, even Justice Smollett, his whole damn family pretty much acts. So you have people who have been acting forever. Trey Byers, like all these people. This episode though, he shined. Like I was watching, I was like, oh my God, I believe you. But I was so proud.
He's been studying his craft.
Like I was proud. Even with, and I'm sure you're gonna, but even in the scene that we talked about earlier where he was crying, like I believed he was actually crying with singing to Andre or rapping to Andre. Like I was like, damn. Like even Jamal wasn't crying. I was like, damn, bro.
He did good. You're right. You right.
You're right. He did very well. Do you think that? I think Hakeem should be a little more. I think he should be taking this a lot serious than what he is. Cookie mentioned to him twice that Lucious is ready to kill you, and he doesn't seem to be very cautious or have his back. Do you guys think that he is equipped to run the empire?
I think it's staying true to his actual age and
Exactly.
the generation. Mm-hmm. You gotta think this Hakeem is of the era of punching people in the face and recording for World Star and not thinking you're gonna get your ass whooped in retaliation. You know what I mean? Like that whole idea of consequence is foreign to him. He's an untouchable child. This is the boy who went running without security and didn't know he should have security and goons, but got kidnapped. Mm-hmm. He's very fearless, and it's very naive, but it's a part of who he is, and it's kind of endearing. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because you see this young kid, and you see he's like, I want to be CEO, and I want to do this, and I want to make music, and his decision making sometimes is a little flawed. But when they show him actually being a CEO, he kind of good at it. Yeah, he flows. He looks better doing it than, of course, Jamal, because Jamal was angry and all over the place. Mm-hmm. And Lucious, he was had this evil persona. But when we see Hakeem doing it, you're like, oh shoot. I mean, maybe he should be CEO.
I agree with all that, especially the age thing. Like, you can't force somebody to mature.
Yeah.
And we talked about how his maturity has improved over the episodes. And in this particular episode, like I said, the acting was better. But not only that, it did feel very true to his age and his character, the way he was responding to everything. And I think the drop the mic moment for me, another moment where I was cackling, is when he changed the logo. Lord, I about lost it.
Yo, it had a flat top. I was like, that is not timeless.
I lost it. Like, I literally I had to pause. Like, But
I lost it when you saw the reaction of Cookie because she had the wine, she had a glass in her hand, and she looked at Andre. That was
Yo,
hilarious.
it had a flat top.
it was
In 5 years,
perfect.
it's gonna be dated. You can't like.
No, I just
Hakeem.
I like how he is not afraid to. He's not afraid to just be himself. Like even in the press conference, like you said, he just doesn't care.
Had a lollipop, had his put his foot up. You saw the
But that's
Jimmy
the
Choo.
thing, like you
That's
said,
very,
that makes you endearing. That's the thing that makes people want to look at you and make people want to support you. And they're like, okay, even though this kid has no clue what the fuck he's doing, pardon my language, no clue what he's doing, I'm rooting for him.
But he did sound like he knew what he was doing, though. You know, he was so relaxed and cocky. But then when he was talking, even when Cookie corrected him and talked about Lucious, he picked up right where she left off and was like, "We said Lucious, we have respect for Lucious, blah blah blah." Hakeem is in pocket of being CEO.
But everything is running so freaking smooth. Like even with his clothing line, like the clothing line, that looks like something I wanted. Like the way they were working, like everything looks perfect. When he walks into the building, it wasn't like when Jamal walks in all stressed out. Oh, I gotta worry about my music. He walks in, he's like, "Hey, what's up?" Like what? Like
dapping people
Yeah.
up. They're like,
and that's
"Yo,
the type of
what's
people.
good?"
That's the type of person that I want to work for.
So then, what was your thoughts on why he was so adamant about Menage a Trois opening up opening up for Tiana? He was opposed to that, which you would have thought he would have liked because that was a great business decision.
Oh no, because all he cares about is what's her name, Laura.
Loud.
That's his boo thing now. He just took her virginity. She has that bond, and Laura's like, no, this will come up for me. Let's go. I mean, it's really, he doesn't care about the business decision right now because in that aspect it shows that he is still a child and he is still not in the CEO mindset and everything. The fact that he couldn't see that in order for us to get Tiana to go on tour, we have to make her the opening act because then Camille in her mind, she'll say, oh, okay, she's going to be gone and then we can make this happen. But he doesn't see it that way. He doesn't care.
I like the one thing that he did say to Camille. He was like, hello, you don't want me to be with Laura, but you're with Mimi, so what, am I supposed to be your side piece?
Well, I was waiting for that to come up. Mm-hmm. But
Because clearly. Well, we saw how that ended.
Yeah. And then before we get to that, so we saw Tiana. I haven't seen her in the Coon's age. But the funny thing is, she's talking about, well, you know, she's gonna bail. I'm like, well, where are you going? You on contract? You gonna be like that girl who's who's the girl who's in that contract battle? What's the girl? Kesha. I'm like, where you going?
What's her name on the show? Tiana.
Tiana.
Girl.
Look at my
Those
body.
wardrobes. The wardrobe was cute.
Was it though?
What I liked about
If put that on something.
yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
What I liked about
Yeah.
what I liked about Tiana's performance is you had girls with natural asses and boobs.
Yeah, I appreciate. Yeah, but you know what? Most dancers aren't the ones who get get all of the extra
Yeah.
stuff. It's always
Yeah.
the people who really don't be doing
But
that.
they couldn't even move without it.
but normally on
Mhm.
TV you would still see a bunch of fakeness, and I just like that they were all nice girls with nice real butts, real boobs. It was refreshing.
Would you pay for a ticket to her tour?
Well, no, I would not. But let me say this: I have radio background, so I've always gone to concerts for free. So that's my story, and
So
I'm
if
sticking to
you
it.
got the free ticket, would you go?
Yeah.
I would go if it was free. But this is let me pose this.
I
Let me
would not.
play devil's advocate.
Oh, I would go. Oh, I would go if Mirage
Mirage
Tour.
Tour?
I would go if they were opening.
Let
Them
me-
girl. Ugh.
Let
Sorry.
me throw this out
I
there.
love Laura.
Okay, so we have Tiana, and then if they had a concert with her character on Empire, would you go? Blah, whatever the answer was. But Lucious is supposed to be the Jay-Z of this show, and I wouldn't go to a damn thing he was having. But he's supposed to be the whole of Empire.
I wouldn't go to his show.
Like I would not. You can give me a free
Well,
ticket, and I'll be
but
like,
low-key,
I ain't going to this shit.
I can't even imagine Lucius performing on stage. Though. Like, can you?
He be all
Boom, boom,
winded.
boom, boom.
Like, is he winded?
Bang, 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 bang. Come on, Frida.
And then and then you transition to that piano instrumental. Like, okay, so 1 minute you boom, 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 and then next thing you know, you on the piano playing like you
Listen.
Alicia
And
Keys
And
and,
you know
Prince.
he played a guitar too,
Right.
Like
can't.
on Best Man. He's
He's gonna be going through all different times. Put on the. I can't. That should be all over the place.
As far as Hakeem switching up the plan, do you like the fact of him sending the tape over to Mimi, or do you feel that that was something that Hakeem and Camilla planned themselves. Because my problem with that whole ordeal is Camilla, aka Naomi Campbell. I didn't hear any pills jingling when she went to.
It wasn't a pill though. It was like a liquid.
Oh, was it liquid? Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm not.
I'll get to that though in a second though. What I think about that. But.
Okay, so then let's get into this whole thing with Hakeem. Then does his sex tape. He sends it over to Mimi. Mimi starts pulling out her shares. Andre then buys the shares with his son's trust fund. So now, does that mean that Andre will then have majority stock, and then will he become the CEO of Empire?
Maybe they all each son needs to get a turn to being CEO. I guess I don't know.
I didn't. To me, that just didn't sit well. Because it was so easy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, she's selling your shares. Okay, I'm going to buy them. Yay, we have Empire back. Done. It was like...
I don't think... First of all, before I get into that, am I still your mama?
Yeah, that was... Like, come on.
But I don't think it will be that easy. I mean, in the episode, I feel like it seemed like, oh, everything's going to be wrapped up with the bow. But it's not going to be that easy. As far as your first question, Bamm, I actually applaud, I applaud Hakeem for taking the initiative and coming up with the plan by himself and doing it, because there's times where you need to listen to your counsel. Like Lucious listens to Thirsty all the time. And there's times you need to have people listen to your ear, but there's times you just have to go with your gut and just do it. And this particular plan, there weren't really, in my mind, a lot of ways this could backfire. Like Mimi isn't going to send somebody to the offices and try to kill Hakeem over this. She's barely fighting for her life in the hospital.
I think there is now that Lucious is involved. Because let's think about, okay, so a sex tape magically appears at Mimi's hotel the day that Mimi and now potentially Naomi Campbell die. Hakeem was the last person to be with Naomi Campbell, one of the last people before she died.
Okay, well that aspect,
You know
that
what I
aspect,
mean?
you're right. Okay, so
Initially,
it seems like the guy there. That aspect, you're right, because Lucious isn't involved, and we saw what happened after.
Mm-hmm.
It's just very troubling that we have that tape now in the aftermath. Regarding her taking the whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I don't know if I'll say this for a prediction or just say. I think I'll just say no. I don't know if she's actually dead though.
Me too.
Because when she took it, like, you're right, there wasn't anything jiggling, but I think it was a liquid that she poured in, and when she did it, that could have already been empty, and then because we didn't see, they just faded out.
Yeah.
And she was just on Wendy Williams like
Yesterday.
2 days. Yesterday, doing press for the show.
But she could have been doing the press for the show
For her last
episode, and plus she was promoting that $10,000 book.
I want that book though.
That's only 1,000 copies.
And she could just her character could just disappear like she died.
Yeah.
Because Lucious isn't probably going to go back to the crime scene. She wiped her fingerprints off before Lucious came, so technically she wasn't even there.
Yeah.
So another prediction.
But Lucious does have the video. He did video.
Yeah.
So, but what he could do is he can hold that over Hakeem's head and be like, "Look, Negro."
I think he's gonna. I think I saw something like that in the previous.
Yeah,
yeah. He's gonna.
He can totally hold it. He can totally hold it over Hakeem's head. Any other thoughts about that entire scene? There's something about it, and then it's like we never saw Mimi in the tub.
We saw her legs.
We saw her arm and her leg, and so it was just it just left it open. And so I don't know if she's really dead.
I think Mimi's really dead. I just think they didn't want to pay for her to come back.
Yeah.
Marissa Tomei is an award-winning
She's
actress.
an Oscar-winning actress.
Yeah, you got to pay her.
So I think Mimi's dead, but Camilla, I think that's still open.
Now this is my problem, like with 50 Cent allegedly dying on Power. You either kill him or you don't. I don't, the whole illusion of did she swallow, did she this? Listen, be dead or be alive. I ain't got time for that.
Dead or alive. No, I will say my last thought before we move on is this I just felt like reinvigorated. Like I enjoyed the show again. Like I was telling them last week, I was texting during the show, like I wasn't paying attention. This episode, I was like, oh, I wanted to fast forward and see what's gonna happen next. So it felt good to be in the show, like into the show again, because it lost me for a while there.
For me, it started last week, and because there's a bunch of stories now. There's so many stories that's going on, and I guess what you said, Kennelia, about how it seemed to end so quick. I agree. I don't need you to wait till season 4, but at least play this out. And so I did feel like it was too short. But all the other stories, as far as Dre, his wife, Reverend Price, Cookie's in the midst of everything. Like, there's so many stories that's going on. I'm really excited to see what happens.
Yeah, I am too.
Yeah.
Oh, and I'm looking at my other notes when Cookie called Hakeem Ray J. I cackled too.
See, I thought that's where it was going with the sex tape, because if a man releases a sex tape, he's gonna benefit from the sex tape.
Yeah.
Because of course this is gonna get leaked. Of course people are gonna see it. But then with the whole Mimi dead and potentially Naomi Campbell's character dead, I was like, oh great. So now Hakeem is going to be a suspect.
Yeah.
Great.
My final thought before we go to the cold piece is when Rhonda was snooping on Naomi Campbell. When you're snooping, don't be looking.
Listen.
Pretend, look at the clothes, and just use your ear and listen to what's going on. I felt like Naomi Campbell was going to catch on, but she didn't. Mm-hmm. But DJ, drop it. Let's hear cold piece of the week.
Cold piece of the week for Empire episode 12 of season 2 goes to Reverend Price. Stay out of people's business, Reverend Price. I understand that you feel like it's your job to maybe counsel people within the church, offer guidance, be there when they need you. However, don't sit on the chair and look like a shady Katie the whole time you supposed to be helping people out. Come on. He looked like one of those old TV pastors that used to be on, what was the channel?
TBN?
Was it TBN? What was it?
That's my dad used to always watch TBN.
He looked like one of the shady ones that used to come on late at night and kept asking you for money at 2 o'clock in the morning. That's what he looked like. So for that reason, I'm giving Reverend Price, a.k.a. whatever Bamm called him.
Reverend Do Wrong.
Cold piece of the week. Cold piece that goes to the tampon that Cookie was referring to. Let us know who you think cold piece and cold piece et should be. Hit us up on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook using hashtag cold piece and hashtag cold piece et.
I wasn't expecting the cold piece.
I wasn't either. And then also make sure that you guys check us out on iTunes and YouTube, where you guys can rate, subscribe, comment, tell a friend, and let everyone know about us here at AfterBuzz and all the great shows that we do. All right, so now let's go into predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
For me, let's see. I predict that. Lord, I feel like I already said. Didn't I say one prediction kind of during the show?
Yeah, you said a bunch.
One thing I miss. I keep saying this. I miss Grace Geely, so I need Boo Boo Kitty to come back. I just miss her, and it was sad not seeing her the whole episode. It was cool seeing Portia this episode for her small scene, and Cookie's sister. I don't know. I predict that the show is getting back on track. That's what I forgot to. I meant to look to see. I don't know if you saw Bamm or Kennelia who wrote this episode, because I just thought it was very well written. But I want to go back and see who wrote this episode to see if it's anybody that we know. But yeah, I predict that next week will be good. Hakeem is in trouble because Lucious is definitely going to use that sex tape against him. I don't think that Camilla is dead, and I don't know. Cookies is just going on a thin line with this Lucious thing, because I feel like she's fallen into the trap. But it looks like in the previews we have this issue where she didn't even know that wasn't his real name, which is troubling.
Oh wow, I didn't see the previews.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Well, I think she knew that, but she found out later on, and as they're probably in the midst of their arguing back and forth, it's like basically, yeah, I loved you, blah blah blah, and I didn't even know your real name, and I took it that way. But at the same time, Cookie ain't her real name either.
Yes, you're right.
But having a name like Cookie or Peaches is normal.
Yeah,
We're gonna change your whole first and last name.
Yeah.
I predict I said earlier that I think Reverend Price pushed old girl down the stairs, Rhonda. Now I'm predicting that it was Andre who did it. I think these visions is somehow him remembering what he doesn't remember doing, and in fact that it was probably him. Or, I got somehow now I'm like, okay, maybe it was Andre. Because he's like, I had a vision that someone pushed you, and not that you didn't fall, that someone pushed you. It was you! Are you trying to tell me? Is God trying to tell you something? So
Speak, Lord.
Speak, Lord. Speak to me. So that's going to be my prediction as of now.
For me, I think that Andre needs to. I'm not gonna kill him off, but I do. I kind of want to low key want to kill him off, but I don't want him to die. But I do think that something drastic needs to happen to him. That's a result of Rhonda and Reverend Price, and I believe it's going to be Reverend Price is going to be the one that's going to push him to where he needs to jump off that cliff or whatever he does. But like I feel like it's a messy triangle between those three. And this Menage a Trois and Tiana thing. Okay, well, Laura then opened her legs. She's a lot more sassier now, and now this chick now thinks that she is the headliner. And Tiana is not going for it, and now you're gonna have the old chick fighting the new chick, and I think Tiana, I hope she drag her to the floor.
Oh no!
You don't like Laura?
No,
She should have kept her legs closed.
No, Laura need to come fight back.
She's like 19.
Yeah.
I don't care.
19-year-old to have sex.
Yeah, she should have kept her legs closed. But
No.
I'm
my
Team
God.
Tiana. I'm Team Tiana on this one, and the fact that she even got back with she got back. I don't like that girl group Menage a Trois. They can't sing.
Well,
it
that
just
probably
needs.
Laura
wasn't her
be
choice, though,
jamming.
yeah.
Laura
No.
can sing.
No.
Laura can
I don't
sing.
like them as a group. Laura needs to be a solo artist.
They'll
Well,
get
it
to
takes
that.
time.
And you just
yeah.
can't have 4 broads on one tour. It's a disaster, and I'm looking forward to seeing how that's gonna go.
Well.
And I agree with you. I don't believe Camilla's dead, but don't be fooling us, Empire, because things are going well, and so don't have her come back during season 3 because I'm talking shit.
I know. I'm back.
Yeah. And so now let everyone know where we can be found on social media as we need to wrap up.
So for me, you can find me at Emile Ennis Jr. on most social media, and then on Snapchat at Emile Ennis Jr. 31. And then if you guys need an extra shot of conversation, make sure you check out Happy Hour, a shot of conversation on iTunes, where we talk about all the latest trending topics. And yeah, it'll be fun. So search for Happy Hour, a shot of conversation, and you can get it. We talked about Blac Chyna and Rob Kardashian last night, aka Angela Kardashian. Lord, that was just one of the topics I can't.
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Kennelia. You can find me on Snapchat at Kennelia1. I promise I'll learn how to use the application.
Hey.
You can also catch me at Flappers Comedy Club tomorrow, Friday at 7:30. You can catch me at Flappers again on April 22nd. You can catch me at Ice House on April 23rd. And you can catch me at Malo on Sunset on April 21st. We out here, man.
All right, yeah. And you can find me on all social media at Bamm Ericsen, and also I do Snap as well. So if you want to also follow me on Snapchat, I'm also at Bamm Ericsen, just like I am for all other social media. Thank you guys for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV here for for Empire Season 2, Episode 12. We had a great time recapping this episode, and we look forward to seeing you guys next week. Thank you so much.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.